Hey guys, my name is Shreyas and welcome to Simple Biology. Today we're going to be talking about the direct observations in biogeography which helped support Darwin's theory on evolution. So at the time when Darwin published his book on the origin of species, he did not have that much evidence in order to back up his theory. But with time, over the 150 years we've seen from when Darwin published that book to today, we have collected a wide amount of evidence which supports natural selection. So in this video, we're going to be looking at that. So, like again I said, Darwin had a lack of information, 150 years to fill these gaps of key evidence. Okay, let's just move on. So, direct observations. Okay, so these are direct observations of natural selection, which we have seen in the past 150 years, which really supports natural selection. Now, we've seen thousands and thousands of examples of direct observations, but I'm just going to give you one here, and it's with this bug called the soapberry bug. So the soapberry bug is a bug that's found in the southern part of the United States. And what happened is that some of the soapberry bugs actually migrated from southern Florida to central Florida. So in southern Florida, they feed on the native plant called the balloon vine. I have a picture here. This balloon vine. This is a picture here. But when some of these soapberry bugs moved to central Florida, due to the scarcity of the balloon vine, they fed on another plant called the golden rain tree. And these bugs feed best when their beak length matches the depth at which the seeds are found within the fruit, which kind of makes sense. If you have the right length, then it's easy to reach those seeds. So the thing is, for the golden rain tree seeds, the seeds of that plant, the seeds are much closer to the fruit surface than the balloon vine. So because of that, natural selection is going to select for shorter beaks. And eventually with time, if you look at, in central Florida, if you look at the soapberry bugs, their beaks are significantly shorter than the ones found in southern Florida. However, in Louisiana and Oklahoma, the fruit of the introduced plant is larger than the fruit of the native plant. So the opposite thing happened. Due to natural selection, the beaks of those that fed on the introduced plant species resulted in the evolution of soapberry bugs with longer beak lengths. Okay, so that's an example of a direct observation. Another big part of Darwin's, a big piece of evidence to Darwin's theory of evolution is biogeography. Biogeography is the study of the distribution of species, and it's influenced by many factors, including continental drift. So continental drift is the slow movement of Earth's land masses and continents over time. A brief history on continental drift. 250 million years ago, continental drift moved Earth's land masses into one large land mass continent called Pangaea. So, and then 200 million years ago, Pangaea started to break apart, and then 20 million years ago, we have the continents which we see today. So this is an example of this showed how that happened. We had this one big large landmass called Pangaea, and eventually this started to split apart and apart. So how does this relate to evolution and natural selection? So let's say, for example, at the time in Pangaea, there was a group of, let's say, something that looked like a deer. Okay, so a deer which lived in this area right here. Okay, now, because of continental drift, some of the deer population is going to get split apart between South America and Africa. So if you look now, although because of the different environments which formed in the different environments that formed in South America here and Africa here, if you look at those deer now, although they're very different because the environments change and obviously natural selection is going to select for different traits, they are still similar because of this biogeography. So that's a very big part in natural selection, and this can be seen in many examples, not just like this deer. Now, I don't know if there's actually deer living in here and here. I've just made that up, but that's just an example of how biogeography proves natural selection. Another example of biogeography, which helps prove natural selection, is with islands. Islands tend to have many plants and animals that are endemic. Endemic means that they are found nowhere else in the world, the species. And we talked about how the Galapagos Islands have endemic species with, with the finches, they're only found in the Galapagos Islands. So that also is an example of natural selection, because you have these species which are migrating onto this island, and the island has different environments than the different environmental factors than the mainland. So eventually, with time, the organisms which migrate there are going to develop different traits and form new species, and then they're going to, after millions of years, they're going to look completely different than the organisms from the mainland. So another example of data which supports natural selection. And that's basically it for direct observations and biogeography, which supported natural selection. Stay tuned for the next video, but that's it for now. Direct observations and biogeography are as simple as that.